Okay, just I had to turn my airplane mode on for this vid. Good morning to all you target individuals out there. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this quick because they made a recent video of this that I was meaning to upload, but they literally switched over the how should I say? They literally swapped over the the vid format on that, and what happened was they swapped over the battery to where it was draining. The battery was actually draining, so I caught that as well, and they were not happy about that. It's excuse me, it stopped, but it was only because I put turned on my freaking firewall. Anyway, I had to I'm gonna try to do this again. The article I'm going over is morgellon, and the thing about this is that they will try to cast off as more of a. I want to go over this article specifically because of what they try to what what the media is basically trying to feed when it comes to talking about stuff like this. Now, again, I don't claim no copyright for this. I don't claim no type of credit for anything that is in this article at all. This is just me using this for educational purposes for people who are suffering under directed energy weapons. What you don't understand is that all of this is based off nano. All of this directed energy weapons of how they're able to connect to you, it's all based off of nano that they have exposed to you, most likely either into your food, and they've exposed you to an active compound of this nano. As for me, I ended up ordering out a pizza, and they had this stuff laced into the pizza and the hot wings that I've had, and that's how I myself became infected with this. If you've ever had any type of food to where you felt like some type of static of any kind, of anything, to where it seemed like there was a an invisible layer on the food itself that you could not see, and as you ate and as you had took a bite of that food, and again you felt like there was a hidden, an invisible layer on that food, and then as you took a bite, something hit the roof of your mouth even before the food itself hit the roof of your mouth. That was morgellon. I should highly advise you. They go into your homes. They put this stuff in your food that you have pre-cooked food. I don't have pre-cooked food in my home anymore because of that. I don't. And every time I use my pressure cooker, I always wash it out. As far as everything that I use as far as cooking, always wash that stuff out. Preferably with iodized sea salt, really, because that stuff kills Magellan. But I want you to understand, again, iodized sea salt kills Magellan. But in the article, you're gonna see very key words in here that's very questionable. Um, Now, when it comes to this, they don't want to touch on the subject too far. But as far as I know, I've been exposed to this. Every other target individual who's going through directed energy weapons been exposed to this, and it's basically poisoning. It's the people within our government that are poisoning us with this stuff. They put this stuff through the vape trails. As far as the processed meats, it's also in there too. You most likely may have seen highly processed meats and whatnot. As far as stuff to where like you'll see like things like chicken, like certain processed meats that are just like immediately like way larger than what they should be, and then you would most likely even like see some type of synthetic substance that you couldn't even explain. It's been found even in bread products too. It's like a synthetic lump of some kind, and nobody could really say what that lump is. It's a lump of Magellan. It's all throughout the food. It's all throughout that stuff. If you see something that's like highly processed meats, I suggest you really, really research the food that you're eating and really, really be careful because they put this stuff in the food. They put it in the water that we both drink and bathe in. They put it in the sky, so it literally is falling down on everybody's lawn, their houses, the streets, the sidewalks, everywhere. Um, the cure for this, you're gonna want to get some natural dried seaweed. You want some brown rice, and importantly of all, you want iodized sea salt. If you can't find iodine sea salt, you can just find some iodine salt and some regular sea salt. Mix the two together, and then bam, you got iodized sea salt. Um, as far as uh, as far as anything else, let's see. There's the brown rice, and then there's the beans, the dried beans. You want to get all of these ingredients together, put them in a pressure cooker. Also, not just that, but you also want garlic too. You want to put all that stuff in a pressure cooker, and you want to cook that, and then just eat that. What that'll do is the iodine sea salt kills off the morgellon. This is something that's gonna help you. I would recommend you to eat this along with some colon cleanse. That stuff will get a lot of that stuff out of your system. A lot of it. It will kill off the fibers and get a lot of it out. But you got to remember, they will constantly try to infect you with this stuff. They've done it to me countless amounts of times but I've started to catch on to them when it comes to this. They will even go as far as to spray random locations down with this stuff as well. I've watched I can't remember their channel, but I've watched the TI family, a couple. They also were trying to spread information out about this as far as other target individuals. They literally was able to literally get a lot of the stuff out of their bodies, but it started to become the targeting started to become so bad they had trucks following them to the point to where they were being sprayed, man. They were being sprayed down as they were driving, and they had the gang stalkers had it set up to where they had two other trucks trying to prevent them from catching up to the one that was spraying them down. And they did this strategically. They had the main one just so happened to be literally park itself right in front of them, spraying them down with these compounds, That's why I recommend all TIs, if you're going through directed energy weapons, get a spray bottle. Get both iodized sea salt, get baking soda and Epsom salt. Mix all of that into that with water. Dilute literally saturate the mess out of that water and put it in the spray bottle, because you're gonna need to spray yourself down to kill this stuff off of you before it gets into your skin. Now then, they put this stuff in the vape trails, right? Now, if you want to know about this, as far as morgellon is concerned, you don't believe me? Here's a way to prove it. Get a glass of rainwater, preferably after a vape trailhead it went down, right? Preferably then. Get a glass of rainwater, put it in the microwave. After heating that microwave up, put that water underneath the microscope. Another way to test it out: get some iodized sea salt and some rainwater. Put that stuff in the rainwater, put it underneath the microscope, and watch that stuff react. Watch it react. Without further ado, let's get into the article. Morgellons. Morgellon is a controversial and poorly understood condition in which unusual thread-like fibers appear under the skin. The patients may feel like something is crawling, biting, or stinging all over. Some medical experts say morgellon is a physical illness. Others suggest it is a type of psychosis called delusional. I like how they word that, delusional parasitosis. You see that? You see that word there, delusional? How many TIs have reported their stalking and they get someone trying to use similar words, trying to say, oh, you're just being paranoid, or you're just being delusional about certain things? What I like to call that tactic is attack of alert level lowering is what I like to call. They like to lower the alert level of a certain thing in order to make it seem like an act of either superstition, either an act of superstition or an act of paranoia, in order to basically turn down the alarm, the alarm volume for what's truly going on. We're in a state of biological warfare amongst even our own neighbors are doing this to people, and they honestly think it's it justifies them in doing it. There's certain people you don't put certain technologies in the hands of because they're basically idiots who will literally go as far as to literally be incredibly destructive. They are not in the right mind to be in the hands of such things, and it goes to their heads. It literally goes to their heads. And they begin to lose touch of the main point of why they were using this in the first place. This technology is supposed to be used for terrorism. It's supposed to be used for terrorism control, basically. But they still use it as far as testing on the unsuspecting public. Everybody is infected with this, and I do mean everybody. Okay, so delusional parasitosis, in which a person thinks parasites have infected the skin. Your doctor may call it, and I'll explain demopathy. You gotta understand, they got the doctors working for them. They're not gonna go as far as as to what this really is. There was I remember reading in the comic section about this. If you want to know what also can help against this, get the right frequencies for fungi. These things cannot stand that. Put this up to the highest volume that you can stand when you're listening to those tones. And what's gonna happen within 15 minutes or maybe even less, you're gonna feel crawling on your body. You're gonna feel stuff literally popping out and crawling around. That is Morgellon crawling its way around your entire body. This stuff gets into your heart, your eyes, your major organs, your bloodstream, everywhere. This is stuff, it's mostly located underneath the skin, though. That's where it mostly is. But this stuff gets into your heart, man. This stuff gets everywhere. Some medical experts say Morgellon is a physical I've already read that. Symptoms of Morgellon. Unpleasant skin sensations are the main complaint. People with Morgellons, a skin condition that occurs within a known reason. Other medical professionals. Yeah, anyway. Symptoms of Morgellons. Unpleasant skin sensations are the main complaint. People with Morgellons may also complain of feeling like bugs are crawling all over the skin, burning or stinging sensations under the skin, intense itching, skin sores that appear suddenly and heal slowly. That's cancer that this stuff is basically beaming down on. So now again, this stuff reacts to both radiation and iodized sea salt. Now, think about it. The stuff that they're beaming you down with is radiation, right? So ask yourself, they're putting this stuff in the vape trails. What is it that we use on the daily that beams radiation on your face on a constant, that a lot of people tend to be addicted to? If you didn't guess what it is yet, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. It's the cell phones. They should have stopped at 3G. There's been articles about that, and they've gone up as far as 5G, which is boosting up the levels of radiation that's being beamed onto you. I highly recommend you do not get the new phones. Don't. I understand it looks intriguing, but it's not worth it. It is not worth it. I warn you, do not get any of the new phones. Don't. For your own, if you truly value your life, do not get any of that, because that stuff is beaming high levels of radiation down onto you. If you want to know how to deal with this, download N8 State. Apparently, if you go on Google, they charge like $1, but I'm telling you that $1 is definitely worth it. It is definitely worth it. I would tell you to go to Aptoid. You can get it for free, but Aptoid is definitely not a natural market, so I will warn you on that. It's if you can't, if you're having some type of financial trouble. It's just only if you wish to go about it that way. But honestly, the dollar's definitely worth it. Get that. It actually, what it does is it changes the radiational levels from damaging to healing. So actually, this even changes. Just by you having this near you, it helps to change the levels of the radiation that's being beamed on you from damaging to healing. So you're gonna feel a lot better just from using that app alone when they try to beam you down. Now, what I did was I know this is a very highly adaptive system, and I know any type of shielding can still be like like literally just it can literally just adapt to it, right? So I use that to my advantage. And what I did was I shielded myself for so long, and then I swapped it around. When it couldn't recognize the signature anymore, I felt that the nano was trying to desperately try to get a signal. I couldn't figure out as to what the heck was going on. And then I thought about it, I'm like, wait a minute. If I could feel this stuff crawling around, right? So what I did was I got some disposable paper towels, and I started wiping the area where I felt this itchy sensation, and I got rid of a lot of this stuff just by doing that. I started getting rid of a lot of them. Every time I felt that sensation, I wiped that area, and that was another one out of the way. So you can wipe this stuff off, but it's only when they come out. The best way to get them to come out is basically I keep telling everybody, get the right frequencies for fungi. YouTube has been taking these down of late because they don't want TIs to have them. They're literally being paid and told to they're going as far as to even take down the small channels just to get rid of all of them, dude. Not just that, but people's evidence as well. If you need to get your evidence off of YouTube, go to File 2HD. If YouTube Downloader doesn't work out, because I'm telling you, they're starting to mess with YouTube Downloader as well, to where it doesn't even work. It's to the point that where they'll delete the download links to where you can't even download the videos. But again, use File 2HD. Just take the URL there, and you'll be able to get your vid. I should warn you, it could come out in a different format, but you can, if that's the case, what you can do with that is have it converted. Anyway, let's continue. Some patients report thread-like fibers stuck in the skin. People with morgellon sometimes complain of other symptoms, which may include difficult paying attention and concentrating, extreme fatigue, hair loss, joint and muscle pain, nervous system problems, tooth loss, sleep problems. I've heard other people with directed energy weapons had the problem with tooth loss, short-term memory loss. If you're having a problem with your tooth loss, what I do, I take some iodized sea salt as well as baking soda, and every morning from every night, I wash my mouth out with that. I also should warn you, don't use any type of factory-based hair care products. Don't use any type of factory-based skin products. That's as far as from soap, and as far as from even what is that? The heck is the name of that? That's as far as bar soap, body wash, shampoo and conditioner. They put synthetic toxins in this stuff that you're not aware of. So if you're going through directed energy weapons, just use baking soda to bathe, use baking soda to brush your teeth with, just use that. Just use that and you'll be good to go. Treatment of morgellons. There is no known cure for. So they were talking about it, but they didn't want to tell you the truth about what's really going on. This is why I'm doing this for educational purposes, so people would know. Just so people would know who gets morgellon. In the past, few doctors have heard of morgellons, but in response to scattered reports, the CDC worked together with several other healthcare agencies to investigate this condition. Most reports came from California, Texas, and Florida, although patients have been seen in all 50 states. All 50 states. Everybody is injected with this, dude. They can't tell you the cure because of them being involved with the media. But you now know that if you didn't know before, now you know. Now you know. Magellan is most likely to affect middle-aged white. That's a complete lie. This stuff affects everybody. They'll literally try to just deflect a lot of the stuff. Many of the patients in the CDC study showed signs of being obsessively concerned about health problems in general. This is called systematic concerns. About half of the people in the study had other health problems, including depression and drug abuse. The debate over Morgellons. The question of whether Morgellon is a disease or a delusion has prompted debate in numerous research in recent years. Again, if you really want to see the stuff in action, just get a cup of rainwater, preferably after a vape trail went by. Get a cup of rainwater, put it in the microwave, look at it underneath the microscope, or maybe even you may even see the stuff move underneath the magnifying glass. I just don't know if you'll actually be able to see it or not. You may see, if you see movement of any kind after you've exposed this stuff to radiation, which technically activates it, then you know that that's the stuff that you're basically being exposed to. The CDC states that the condition is not caused by an infection or anything in the environment. Yeah, that's more deflecting. It's not mainly the environment itself. It's mainly sinister. It's basically our government basically putting it in our environment. The CDC study also includes a lab analysis of skin fibers in Morgellon patients. The analysis showed that these fibers were mostly cotton, such as typically found in clothing or bandages. The CDC research also, that's not even true. It is fibers, but it's nanofibers. But you see, they're still trying to deflect. They're still trying to deflect this stuff from what it is. They're still trying to deflect. They've seen several key things right there, man. It's fibers, but it's nanofibers. The CDC research also revealed that the skin sores seem to be a result of long-term picking and scratching the skin. That's a lot. That's another lie. That's just due to high activity from the nano. And that could also be as far as some damage is concerned. If you are scratching, that could be a result from that. But honestly, like that stuff won't. You can literally move it off. You can literally move it off, so no one's gonna be scratching themselves like crazy or whatever like that, man. The CDC report goes on to say we were not able to conclude based on this study whether this unexplained dermatopathy represents a new condition as has been proposed by those who use the term Morgellons, or wider recognition of an existence condition such as a delusional parasitosis. The results of the CDC study have been achieved and are no longer updated. The CDC does not plan to do any further research on the matter. Besides the CDC, other research teams have contributed to the debate on Morgellons. Previous case studies, the researchers have suggested Morgellons may be linked to Lyme disease. Some patients with signs and symptoms of Morgellon had tested positive for the bacteria that causes Lyme disease. The bacteria. You remember when I told you to get the fungi type frequencies for rife? That's what I'm talking about. You want to know what that bacteria is that they expose you to? It's Candida. It is Candida-based bacteria that they expose you to. That stuff gets it literally goes around through the entire body, and it eventually makes its way to the bloodstream. Where does the bloodstream go? From your major organs, as far as your heart, your lungs, and your brain. But according to but yeah. Anyway, before I go into that, that's why I included the ingredients as far as it's concerned. If you want to know what gets rid of helps treat Candida, garlic does. Garlic is a key factor for that. But according to Morgellons, researchers at Oklahoma State University, there is no evidence to prove this theory. Likewise, there was no evidence of Lyme infections in any of the people in the CDC study. A 2010 study found a potential link between Morgellon symptoms and an undirective thyroidism. More research needs to be done for further investigation of this finding. Morgellon also appears similar to a condition seen in a cattle called bovine digital. As you can see, cattle, right? Did I not say that this was did I not say that this was related to the food, that was some of the stuff that we eat, that high processed food, the chicken that you would see that's that has its size elevated? Yeah, that's what that is. Infection, according to a 2011 study, but no conclusions can be reached from these small studies. And that's pretty much it for the article. Again, I claim no copyright for this. Everything belongs to their reporters. As far as as far as research is concerned, I claim no copyright of any kind. I claim no funding for this. I claim no type of money making for this whatsoever. Anyway, this is MM's TI Strategy Guide. I'm over and out.